kid with a French last name, Monceau or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy.
Let's talk about Star Pizza.
Star Pizza. For your everyday needs, Star Pizza. Brad, talk about Star Pizza for a minute.
Star Pizza is the perfect place for you to go. If you're coming out of the game right now, you're stuck in traffic. I know you're starving, absolutely starving. Head to Star Pizza. You know, that's a place where you can go kick your feet up, just relax, be around the Coug faithful. You know, go take care of the people who take care of us. And by us, I mean all of U of H fans, because they support everyone.
That's fair. They're turning the music on in here because the women's team is doing shoot around. So this could be the worst show ever.
You have to go find a closet.
I might have to do that. Well, now Kelvin is going to get on for the press conference. What do you think about what you saw, especially in that second half?
We let them dictate too much on both ends of the floor. They had a really good game plan for us, and you know they did a great job of keeping us out of our offense until deeper into the shot clock. I mean, it's a place where we get stuck quite often. I mean, this is I've been talking about this for probably 4 or 5 years now, that if I'm going to defend U of H, I'm going to defend U of H. I'm going to have a guard on the ball from the time the ball's thrown in every time, just to slow them down. And then I'm going to do everything I can to force U of H to try to start their offense at the logo. Because if you can do that, then that just takes more time to get into the offense and to get through their pick and roll decisions. They did a great job of doing that. But you know, the only place they faltered is, you know, LJ just had a monster night, and he hit everything. They couldn't stop him. I mean, you can only slow him down so much. And I thought Milos played really well in the first half. I think the entire team kind of fell apart a little bit in the second half when it came to taking care of the ball. We just got sloppy with possessions, and you know, we're sitting on a 15-point lead. That's a lot. That was a loss of focus. That was a loss of focus, and you can't do that against a team like Iowa State. You can do that against some teams and get away with it, but Iowa State's going to make you pay just because they play so hard. They're so much like us. It's like watching mirror image. I mean, they just attack at all times, and you know, hats off to them. They played their ass off. We know what it's like to be down big time scorers, but that didn't faze them. You knew that they were going to come with their best, and they weren't going to just let it roll away.
Agreed. I am having some technical difficulties, and then Coach is on the big screen talking about that effort. So be patient for a few minutes. Good game. This is my aunt, Lisa. Hi, Lisa. Checking in from Ouachita Parish. Ryan, you met my 2 grandsons at the West Virginia game. They would die. They got a shout out on your podcast. Dominic and Damien.
Children of the Corn.
Yes,
Welcome.
And I think this is the home West Virginia game when I took a photo with Mac. This Iowa State, I'm tired of seeing them, frankly. They are really good. This program, this is not a good team. This is a great program. And
Right.
Indiana is going to focus on TJ, and I hope he turns it down. That's a
Me too.
yesterday job. Iowa State is a today job. Iowa State, their program, what they have done.
He would be.
All
I tell you this. He would be insane to go to Indiana, because, like you said, Indiana is a yesterday job. They haven't been. They haven't been Indiana, quote unquote, Indiana for 15, 20 years, at least.
Since
And-
Kelvin left, really.
And even then, they were kind of on the downside of it, or they were hoping to get it back. They were pretty good under Crean. I thought that was a pretty solid run under Tom Crean. But even then, they wanted to push him away. The thing about it, you go to Indiana. What do you? I mean, you're going to try to revive what they used to have. You're going to be the next Bobby Knight. But the thing about it is that if you have a Sweet 16 run and a Sweet 16 run and then an Elite 8 run, they're going to say your next year better be win it all or be done. I mean, that's just their wild ass expectations. But everything that he could hope to accomplish at Indiana, he can do at Iowa State. He can win a national title at Iowa State. They've got better fans too. Their fans aren't bleeding assholes like the Indiana fans.
I didn't say that, Brad.
They're not a bunch of
gmail.com.
bunch of dripping Dan Dakiches. No, that would be moronic. I hope he stays. It's really weird with Iowa State. I hate Kansas. I hate Texas Tech. I don't hate Iowa State.
I thought you died.
I don't hate Iowa State. Their coach annoys me all the time, but he's a damn good coach. Maybe that's why it annoys me, is because he some of his antics piss me off, but they work and he's good, and that's what kind of pisses me off about it. But
It's antics on top of just being a damn good coach.
and that's just
If it's
that's
just antics, I get it. But
right.
he's
I mean,
got
it's a
both.
part. It works. I mean, that's just kind of the way it is. I mean, Kelvin has antics that I'm sure our opponents absolutely hate, but that's just kind of what comes with the territory. I'm just happy to get the win. When I heard their two guys were out, I saw the line spike up huge. I'm like, I would play the other side of that because these guys aren't going to lay down.
And U of H did not cover. Brad, you got to show us. You got to tell us about it.
Oh, it's I got a new uniform. Everybody, somebody was on me the other time, or a couple of shows ago, that I didn't. I always wore the same thing. Well, guess what? I got a new uniform. Boom. And even the cooler thing about that, look at this. Look at these sleeves. Look at these sleeves. I've never had a sweatshirt that actually had sleeves that fit. Boom, boom. So I'm excited. Yeah, Ryan's just going to show this graphic and keep himself muted while he talks.
You know what? I was really doing a good job too. I was talking up a storm. Houston versus everybody. Dry fits released today. Galen is on the floor right now. After his game, he's going to release these 6 colors or 6 different color combinations. Make it happen. Brad Towns found a hoodie that fits him. I took it to him, and my tire pressure went up after that hoodie got out of my car. So
I will tell. I
appreciate
mean,
that.
these things are nice, man.
Put that
It's all-
hood on, that silk lining on that hood.
Oh yeah, man. That thing's been perfect for this cold weekend.
Yeah. It looked like an overweight Unabomber. If the Unabomber wasn't surviving
Man,
on
feel
eating
like the
rations,
emperor.
or that,
You have no power here. Oh, cool. Check it out. PT, glad to get the win. PT is my mom. She figured out the interwebs. And so everybody say hello to my mom. Hello, Miss PT.
okay. Hello, Mom.
Let's see. You want to go to let's go to some more comments. Let's see here. LJ was on is that Firecracker? Is that let's go with On Fire. Yes, you are correct. Watching LJ today, I actually had to go look it up. Watching LJ today was like watching Rob McKeever get hot and just light the building on fire. Because everything he was throwing up was going in. I mean, the only difference between tonight and I guess what was that night that McKeever scored like 50 and just hit everything from all over the place. Yeah. The only difference between that McKeever night and tonight for LJ is the volume of shots. We didn't shoot the ball as much. But that was stellar. I mean, that's exactly what you'd love to see of a guy of his ability. You've got to feel great for him because those types of games in this type of moment is exactly what he came here for. I mean, he came here to win big, and he wanted to be the guy. He wanted to be the guy with the ball in his hand in a tough environment, and that's exactly what he got today. I think there for a while didn't what was it in the first half? Him and Milos had all but like 4 points.
30
4
of 34 points. Yeah.
That was odd. That was odd. Let's see here. Coach Sampson got outcoached in the second half. I don't think so. It's just that's part of it.
But his players got outplayed in the second half.
It's just part of the game. I mean, you know, we think that I know that the story of the game is how great their defense was, right? We shot 53% from the floor and 59% from three. They had some really good moments of defense, and they had a really nice run for about 12 minutes in the second half. But you got 53 and 59 and 80% from the free throw line. That's telling me that that defense got freaking torched. Now, where they did succeed is turnovers.
100%.
They forced a ton of turnovers.
17, I think. That's the last I saw, which is brutal.
Let's see here. Next one. What happened to Kane's coupons this season, guys? I don't know. Ryan, what happened? Did we ever have Kane's coupons? Is that Raisin Canes?
Yeah. They do a thing if a team misses back-to-back free throws, you get something. But I don't think they shot back-to-back, and it's in the second half. And I don't think they shot back-to-back free throws. Not that I remember. And they certainly didn't miss it because they went 9 of 11. So, I mean, when a team doesn't miss free throws, you're not going to win that one. I don't know what else to say.
Let's see, GoCoogs. I'm super proud of LJ stepping up big this game. Absolutely. Max says, "Great game. Watch from home. Wish I could have been there." What do you think how did you rate this crowd? Other than they were packed early.
Yes, crowd was very much into it, very into it. Obviously, in that 10 or 12-minute stretch when Iowa State went on I think it was an 18-8 run, all 8 points being LJ. But I thought that the crowd was really good. Reese Davis and Seth Greenberg and Jay Williams from ESPN were sitting right in front of me, and they were getting into it. And I know they thought the crowd was pretty good. So I think the crowd was really good. This is what it should be. And these
I gotta
two
tell you
teams
what.
are so good and so fun to watch that this crowd should be massive every time.
I gotta tell you what, man. I'm just looking at I'm looking at myself, and I'm having a hell of a hair day, man. This shit is tight. Woo! You're the best, Towns. Let's see here. LJ's best game is a Coug. Absolutely. Iowa State defense is really, really solid. Credit them for hanging in there in a hostile environment. Correct. If I weren't born a Coug fan, I'd be an ISU fan. Respect the hell out of them.
100%.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. They play the right way, and in this day and age, it's become more rare. You hear things about U of H, and you think that they're overblowing it. Basketball guys and basketball coaches love this type of team. They love the way that U of H puts together teams and the way U of H plays, because it takes them back to back in the day of when this is how basketball was played. It's not as rare as some might seem, because you can see it all over the country. You can see it at Ole Miss or wherever Chris Beard goes. You can see it, even Rick Pitino. I mean, he's having success with it because, the formula never changes, and Iowa State's got it in spades. And they just, when they bring in guys from the portal, they're not going after the best guys. They're going after the best fits, which, some in our league have struggled identifying.
Okay, now they're just going to play music right on top of it. That's just so mean.
We're lucky to avoid going to Ames 100%, but we're going to be at Ames South in conference tournament. So that'll be a de facto home game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am very happy not to have to make that trip back there. Damn right. Except, mine's short, but it's tight, man. It's good. One of the rare good hair days.
Situations that you can say tight in reference to you.
Well, you could talk about my clothing.
Yeah. Hi, Brett's mom.
You got to respect the town's mom.
Yeah, absolutely. Respect to Iowa State. I hope they make you proud. When you read off one of these that are starred, unstar it so we don't go back to it. How about that?
Cool.
Counts with the pregnant pause. That's not the only thing that looks pregnant. I don't
take it behind the schoolhouse and get it pregnant.
So much that it feels like brother identities. They do it a little differently than U of H does it, but it looks the same. The results are the same. You got, I don't want to say lucky today, but kind of did. Now I think they're eliminated from the regular season. As I recall, they're now 4 games down with 4 to play. Right? 2, 4, 5 to play. I'm not doing that.
I don't know. That's just whatever
15-1.
music they're playing is terrible.
Is it loud?
It's not that it's loud; it's just interferes.
Okay. I will try to find a place that, because they're just turning it louder. It's
Yeah.
like it's a personal thing here.
They're smoking you out of there.
Yeah, they really are. So why don't you read some comments, and I'm gonna try to find somewhere else.
Okay. Oh yeah, now you people are left with me. Let's see here. Towns with the drip, absolutely. Thank you. We all need the drip. Be careful if you go to Lubbock, you can catch the drip pretty easy. Don't wash the new hoodie. It might dry up. No, you're correct. I will never dry it. I might wash it in cold water. But I'll leave that sucker to hang out and stretch and fulfill its purpose. Let's see here. Everybody to be nice to Brad today. No, you don't have to. Come on, I'm built for this. I'm built for abuse. So let me have it. Time to get revenge on Tech. Yeah. This is it's lining up to be a really, really big week. It's an elimination week, if you will. What is it? If we can get a W at Tech, didn't that put them out of it? I don't have the standings here in front of me. Someone type that in there. McKeever was a walking bucket. Yes. Yeah. I think for everybody here in the chat that was around for watching Fluff play, that dude, you don't see that. You don't see him a lot better than that as far as just a scoring machine. Aubrey Coleman, maybe. But both of those guys were in a different stratosphere. Those guys could absolutely fill it up, and they can get a lot of buckets in a short amount of time. Good thing LJ drank the heart-shaped herb and acquired the full power of the Black Panther before the game. Otherwise, this may be a loss. Yeah. This was 100% LJ. He ran away with it. I mean, we can't discount Milos. He was 7 of 10 and 3 of 5 from the 3. I mean, it's a pretty damn good shooting night. Turned the ball over a little bit much, a little more than what we seen. 4 turnovers. Isn't that how many he's had in conference play so far this year? That's insane. And towards the end, I was sitting there lamenting the fact that, man, E-Man hasn't popped off yet. I'm waiting for it. And then finally hits that monster dagger. It was nice to see him come through. He really, he's the last 2 games. Am I crazy, or is it the last 2 games that he's been a different player in the second half than he was in the first half? Just a lot more aggressive. I would love to see that, him carry over his second half performances and start doing the first and the second. But he stepped up big when we needed it. So that's where we are with that. I'm just splitting hairs at that point. concerned about Milo's 4 turnovers? No, not at all. Games like that happen. Just kind of part of the game. And plus, you're playing against a really, really good team who is adept at turning us over. They turned us over a bunch last year. I think I have to get Ryan to look, but I believe that's how they ended up beating us, or that was the biggest problem we had at Iowa State last year whenever we lost, is that we just couldn't control the ball. We just turned it over way too many times. You've got to make really good decisions against them, and you can't get caught in between. And when I say you can't get caught in between, you can't get a step or two away from the pick and roll and pick up your dribble, because then you're stuck. You can't get yourself into bad positions because they're going to double you whenever you pick the ball up. And welcome back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's not good, but I can hear you. I can see you talking.
That's something.
Yeah, that can
I'm
hear
gonna
you
try
better
to
now.
find a place to go, but man, kind of short on spots. So
Well, no,
we'll just-
I don't hear the
The
music in
music?
the background as much.
Okay. Well, I don't have access to comments, so you're on that for the rest of the day.
Cool. Answer this. Was today the best crowd of the season?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, there's nothing that's in the same ballpark, frankly. There have been vast openings, and then there's also been a huge contingent, like of Baylor fans and Tech fans, especially. There were Iowa State fans here, but it wasn't near like it has been for the in-state schools.
Well, yeah.
But I don't think it's a big issue at all. I think you had a really, really good crowd tonight.
Let's see. Here we go. How come Roberts goes from dominating in offense to not being able to have an impact? Matchups and
Game plan, matchups, yeah.
also how they played. They played above him, and they tried to deny him the ball as much as possible. There's also a reason why LJ was knocking it down from the outside. LJ and Milos, they're going to have a big game like that. It means they're let's put it this way, from a game plan perspective, you've got to pick your poison of who you're going to try to stop. And it makes sense to try to stop and do everything you can to slow down J1. And the reason why is that if you can stop the offensive threat on the inside, it'll make them it'll make your opponent more one-dimensional on the outside. And they succeeded in that. First half, we weren't moving without the ball. We were just passing the ball around the perimeter, not getting much done inside. Sorry, Ryan's mic was going real hot. So no, I mean, I wouldn't have a worry about that. I mean, it's put that all down to matchups, put that all down to game plan. Just part of it. Hell yeah, Coogs, man, I love and hate playing these ISU teams. They are so freaking good against each other. Yes, I agree.
So is the music the problem for me?
Well, it sounded like it was somebody talking directly into your microphone.
Oh, well, I was moving a chair and whatever else. Sorry, y'all. It's not our best day here. Galen's playing. I'm not contributing at all. But
did enough to resist game day voodoo magic.
yes, now 1-1 on game day.
Agreed.
Galen was not here to ruin it, although Dejan was. Talked to him. He said he's cool coming on again. So we might have to get him for one of his next few games. Have you talked about game day at all?
No,
Uh, I thought it was a respectable turnout, not a great turnout. There were times where I thought, this is actually kind of pitiful, but it was okay. I thought they got into it. They booed all the right things. They cheered for the right things. They got into it, especially when Jamal came on a screen here, when Kelvin was introduced. There's just some good moments.
well,
I
the
think
crowd
the
from the television, it looked good.
Yeah, that's good. I thought it was. Can you explain to me what happened with Dennis Quaid?
I think he did the Cougs house or whatever chant wrong something. I
He
didn't
added
see
a
anything.
verb. Whose house is this? Is what I think I was told.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's not great. Don't
But
try to do
I didn't
something
mind
if you
it.
don't know it.
I
Well,
didn't mind it.
yeah, but don't try to fake it without 5 seconds of research. I think would be my general point.
Maybe he had no idea, and they said, "Hey, why don't you do this chant thing?"
Which is why you say, "Give me a minute to research." People are coming around to the Ryan Monso plan. With its impact on seeding likely negligible, assuming we win the regular season conference title, we really should punt the conference tournament. Coming around.
Probably won't.
Yeah, but they should. I just don't think that's something to waste your healthy players on. They had a guy, Josh Jefferson, who had 7 steals in this game. He went 1 of 9 from the floor, but had 7 steals, which that's impressive. Lipsy broke the all-time school record at Iowa State for career steals in this game. It was when he picked, I think it was LJ's pocket and went for a layup. No, it must have been Milo's. I think it was
when
the
they-
live ball Milo.
and they made sure that they noted that. By the way, he's still just a junior.
Yeah, I mean,
He's got another year.
isn't that crazy?
He's just such a really good. I really like the way he plays point.
That record was Jeff Hornacek, and he had it for decades.
Jeez.
And then Lipsy comes and does it in 2.5 years. I mean, Hornacek was drafted 40 years ago.
Right.
So, I mean, that hung around for a long time. Need some pizza. I have a place for you. And it's Star Pizza. Star Pizza, as Galen might say. Go do some Star Pizza. Why not? They're open. All 3 locations are open till, I believe, 11. They have lunch specials all week, wine specials on Thursday, pasta specials on Thursday, Tuesdays and Fridays, all you can eat buffet. And they've got happy hour all the time. I need some pizza. You know where to go. It's Star Pizza. Get your son. We'll change up the logo. Go with the emojis here. Get you some Star Pizza. We had something to do with this program. This school has a history of screwing with SID Jeff Conrad. Everybody's got to have their own special thing. This week we were asked to help in this, and we got one of Ann's photos that she took of Juwan Roberts. And the people at U of H did their magic with the too small, and they put Jeff Conrad under Juwan's hand for the too small.
That is
And so
perfect.
they printed it out for game day and showed Jeff, and Jeff is getting Jawan to sign this and put it in his office. I think that's pretty cool.
That is awesome.
I am always here for screwing with people, and Jeff Conrad, who is just great about it, and he's a lot of fun and really good at what he does. He's been incredibly helpful for us and for everybody else. Are we closing in on Koa Pete? For Koa Pete to come, I believe someone who's not supposed to leave has to leave. And I don't see that yet. I'm going to have some talks over the next day or two with people in the program, and we'll see. I guess shoot around is over, so the music stopped. So maybe we can have a nice rest of this show. Ryan, have to say elite show. Okay, I'm having the worst show I've ever had, and I've had some really bad ones with the technology. Dominic enjoying Towns and you looking at him like he's crazy. Well, that's 25 years of history there. Game day crowd was lame. Missed a bunch of cues like the Elijah reference. That's the one thing maybe missed. I don't think it was lame. The people that were here wanted to be here and had fun. And I don't think U of H is built for game day because you need a lot of students that live on campus. They get here early. I mean, you got to be here for a 9 o'clock show. You got to be here at 8:30, and that's rough. And Deaky seemed like he had a lot of fun on our show, and the Temple story was elite. It really was. One of my favorite things we've ever had on this show, and I appreciate that from him. Glad we won. I don't know if this game ends, how this game ends. If I would say, hey, well, I mean, they probably beat you. They're really good. And it's not shameful to lose to Iowa State. It's just not. Better performance, prior shooting, or Towns' hair.
We'll call that a push.
Will we?
I will, because
Okay.
I think it's pretty damn good.
Have you gone through any of these comments and just forgot to unstar them? Do you
No,
think
you just started from the very bottom, so I just
no,
stopped.
that's fine. Do you think this is what's there? So that's what I do. Do you think Cougs are allowing teams to stay in games from the foul line? I mean,
Well,
they're going to the foul line a lot.
We don't block enough. We don't block enough foul shots. So,
What do you need to do to block more from the foul line? I think that's really maybe an undercoached thing here.
I think so, but I know what he's getting at. But other teams getting to the foul line that's just going to happen because a lot of our guys are just very aggressive on defense. I don't think we're allowing people to stay in the game because of that. I think we allow teams to play or to get into games because, one, nobody stops except for Kansas. Nobody quits except for Kansas. And two, if you take your foot off the gas just a little bit, if you slow down just a tiny bit, there's no margin for error in this game. So if they're going a million miles an hour to try to catch up and you slow down a little bit, well, all it takes is a little bit of a swing of momentum. And next thing you know, they go on a 15 to 3 run. It's just part of it. You can't. And my thought has always been that if you're up by 10, you need to be up by 20. If you're up by 20, you need to be up by 30. You need to beat them until they quit, until their parents are begging you to stop. That's just the way it is. I mean, you can't slow down.
The crowd did a better job than usual of staying hyped. I think that's true throughout the game.
We intentionally let them back in the game, so
that did help.
I mean, 15-point leads are boring.
Yeah. I mean, who wants that?
It's not good for TV. It's not good for the conference. Really wish there was a delayed start to these after home games. Hard to listen and drive home in the rain. We just assume you're stuck in the garage
Yeah.
and, you've got an hour and a half to spend with us. We'll look at that after this season, figure out what we're going to do going forward with how we do these. We may just have Galen do it all. Just let him figure it out. He's the brain trust, so why not? E-Man hit a deep monster when we needed it.
Yes.
He was 3 steps behind the line. He tried juking that guy a couple times and it didn't work, so he just went pretty much to half court and said, "All right, shoot
Oh yeah,
this."
he put that right in Mom Spinach's face.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been saying his name wrong for 2 years. Um, I went to their website and hit the little, where they play it for you. And you're like, oh, well, that wasn't it. And I practiced it. And then I was talking to somebody about it and they're like, oh, well, how do you say it? I'm like, crap, I forgot. But yeah, we've been saying it wrong.
Mom
Uh,
Spinach.
the Iowa State fans call him mommy. And I think that's fine for us too. That's a
Okay.
lot easier.
Sure.
I think U of H shot 80 or 85% with under 2 seconds on the shot clock. Never seen anything
that
like
was
it.
insane.
Uh,
And that's got to be demoralizing from a defensive perspective.
but it didn't kill them. I mean, they were fine. But yeah,
Well, I mean, this is a team, Iowa State, much like U of H. You're not going to just knock them out with one shot and put them on the mat once. Probably not twice or 3 times. You're going to have to really kill them.
Yeah.
I mean, these two teams are like if zombies fought each other. They just would not or be Jason versus Michael Myers. That's what the fight is.
just sat down with Shepard, off Shepard.
Oh yeah.
Like it. Star Pizza there at Shepard in Norfolk, right there near where 59 Diner was. But that's the location, the original location. That's a lot of fun. Iowa State is going to say they lost because the top 2 scores. Yeah, that's fine. I mean,
And they
at the
should.
end of the day,
What would we say?
there's no column for that. There's just the W and the L. And U of H is 15-1 in this conference.
I mean, we only lost to Duke last year because Jamal was hurt.
Right. I mean, you have and I'm going to tell you, you go right through North Carolina State with a healthy Jamal Shed.
I mean, even Jay Billis said it said it on the show. He said that this team last year, he was talking about, the difference between the two teams. He said that team last year would have gone to the Final Four, but for Jamal getting injured. He said
and I think we all understand that.
built. He said they were built for that, for the Final Four. He said this team right here is built to contend for a title.
It's true.
I don't disagree.
You've seen quite a bit. Have a good day. Mario's leaving. He was sitting in front of me.
Okay,
Photos.
I just got his email.
Oh, well, there you go. 2 of the best defenses in the Big 12. Cougs win. 1 step closer to another Big 12 championship. That's all that effing matters. I mean, it's still weird to sit here talking about this team, which is now 30-4 in this conference.
Did say
30-4, 15-1.
I mean, we knew every one of us knew that we could compete and challenge for titles in the Big 12 before we came into the Big 12. I don't think that anybody was expecting us to dog walk this conference last year the way we did. And I know that people weren't thinking that we're going to do it again this year.
I mean, Kansas was the number 1 team in the country.
That's just a lot of reporters paying attention only to brands. It's like, oh, they got the top prospect in the portal. Oh yeah, it's Kansas.
I would really like to say to you, no, reporters are really smart. You're just not giving them the credit, but I can't say that. I mean, that's just these people. It's just idiots. One of the things, even with Gameday being here, national writers have no clue about this U of H team. They just don't have any damn clue. They couldn't tell you who LJ Cryer is. They probably can tell you who Juwan is because he's been here for 20 years. But they couldn't tell you about anybody else. Kansas is taking it to Oklahoma State. Suck it, Cowboys. Here comes Kansas. And the
you
stupid story.
You weren't going to get our coach. See?
That's one of the stupidest things I've ever heard. There is no way that Bill Self is leaving Kansas in his $11 million salary for Iowa State.
For life. He's got a lifetime contract.
Lifetime contract. I would, if I were Bill Self, this is just me, but I would plan to live for 20 or 30 more years.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Just roll my corpse out there it'd be like a Jimmy Carter.
Easy. Easy. I don't understand this comment. Good thing LJ drank the heart-shaped herb and acquired the full power of the Black Panther before the game. Otherwise, this may be a loss. I understand the second sentence, but I don't understand the first sentence. I assume that's a movie.
Your assumption would be correct.
Okay. Someone said our last 2 years in the AC, we had an 88.8% win rate. These 2 seasons in the Big 12, we have an 88.8%. You basically just traded Temple and Tulsa for Kansas and UT last year and other schools this year. Oh well.
Yep.
Anyone else feeling like Arsenault is fading? I think he's struggling. I don't know what it is, but I don't think he's I don't want to say he's not dialed in because I don't know that, but I don't think he has played his best recently.
We see sparks of it, and we see sparks of it, and even in every game, he'll show you those exact same sparks. But then at some point, he just kind of fades into the background, and
This should be a good question for Galen. Like, how does that happen? Why does it happen?
Yeah, one of the biggest strengths of our guys is that they're all unselfish, and they're all looking to pick everybody up and be a team player or whatever. But at some point, when you got a shot, you got to shoot it. When you've got an opening, you got to shoot it. You got to make things happen at some times. You don't have to do it out of the offense and outside the flow of the offense. Right. But when it comes to you got to make things happen. You can't defer. He plays a lot like the way I remember Jarris playing, in that he deferred to everybody around him quite often because he wants to get the assist. He wants to be the nice guy. He doesn't want to be seen as a ball hog. But damn, get to the fucking hole, baby. That's your game. That's exactly what we needed tonight. We didn't start scoring again until we started getting the ball to the hole. Because you get it to the rack, then all of a sudden the outside opens up a little bit. You give yourself space. Don't be one-dimensional. But he just doesn't seem to consistently have the confidence and the swagger of the guy that's going to make the big play.
Anyway, I get the feeling we'll run into Auburn again. Good news, bad news. Good news, the earliest this can happen is the Elite Eight. And that's if U of H is a 2 and Auburn is a 1 and you're in the same region. That's the bad news. You don't want to be in that region because that's going to be the South, and that is going to be stacked. You need to go out west. You need to go to Denver or Wichita, maybe Seattle that first weekend, and San Francisco the second weekend. By the way, book that trip. Uh, expensive. Y'all gonna have to eat a lot more star pizza. San Francisco for
What?
5 days.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah.
You need to
So-
make sure you get wear a stab vest or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Thank you for the input. But if you run into Auburn, it's the earliest Elite Eight. I worry that there are fans that think the Elite Eight, if you go out in the Elite Eight, that's a failure of a year. I think that's dumb, but I understand the thinking.
Well,
But
anybody who thinks that is,
I understand that this is a stacked team and you in an old team, a veteran team, and you think they need to go further, but you're at the mercy of the bracket and other teams and somebody getting hot. I mean, that's what the whole tournament's about. But you'll take your shot in the Elite Eight or the Final Four against Auburn, right? Right.
absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
here's the thing: you're probably going to have to beat a 1 seed.
Yeah, you're gonna have to beat a 1 or a 2.
You're going to have to beat some really good teams to win. I mean, let's be realistic and step back a little bit and realize when we went to the Final Four, we had the absolute perfect path open up in front of us.
Well, you
We
had, I
played-
think it was all double-digit seeds, right?
We played the lowest seed possible in each round
That's
that
not
came-
bad.
that came through.
I don't know
but
why
then-
more coaches don't choose to do that.
but then the very next year, or what's it, the next year or the year after, where
The
we
next
played,
year,
where we played
Arizona in the Sweet 16.
Yeah, you got the 1 seed, the Sweet 16, and then you got Villanova in the what was it, the
Elite
Elite
Eight.
Eight?
on like
Oh, and that was after
30-hour.
we got Illinois in the second round, and
Yeah,
they were the 4 seed.
yeah, something like that. But
Anything can happen. You can't. If you can get out of the first weekend, that's a good season.
Okay. Okay.
Not the first 4.
I don't think
not-
the Big 12 champion and good season is Sweet 16, making a Sweet 16. But I don't know. I have to think about that
For
one.
me, that's the most I could expect of my team,
Okay, that's fair.
because our expectations are going to be a top 4 seed, at least as minimum expectations. So you're going to you're going to usually have a pretty good draw. Get out of that first round, and then anything happens after that. It's just such a roll of the dice. You hope that you could be able to, get as far as the title game. You want to get to Monday night, but that ain't easy. If you go back and look at the list of champions in college basketball, there's only a few teams. It's not like there's a whole lot of different teams that are winning national titles. Most of them are repeat names, and these are the guys who've been doing it year in, year out. They just reload. We're doing it year in, year out, getting to the Sweet 16 and then advancing. But we're now getting to the part where we're start to get the types of players that can get you to the Final Four year in and year out. Just a work in progress.
The whole sport can be boiled down into one thing, I think, and that's going up a ladder. If you go up a ladder 1 or 2 times in a year, that's a really good year. That means you're cutting the net, right?
Yep.
So if you do that, if you climb a ladder, that's a good year. If you do it a second time, that's a great year. I think you need to climb that ladder. What will happen is you'll do it if you win the conference, which theoretically, or maybe not. I think Tech won today, right?
Oh yeah, they turned it into a blowout.
Yeah, it was a massive. West Virginia was up 9 or 10. I think you can eliminate Tech Monday night is how I'm thinking that is. Because you're up 3 on them. If you beat them head to head, yeah, that eliminates them. Iowa State is pretty much eliminated.
Yeah, they got to win 4, we got to lose 4.
Yeah. And then you tie, and then you have the tiebreaker. But they'll recognize both. So you're probably going to go up a ladder after the Kansas game here, is what I think will happen. And then maybe you make an effort in Kansas City, but you shouldn't. And then, if you get to a Final Four, you get to cut down another net. You win a Final Four, you get to cut down another. Not so bad.
I'll take
I
it.
ordered a whole chef special pizza for myself.
Boom goes the dynamite.
Have you ever eaten an entire chef special in one sitting?
No,
Like a
no,
medium?
I literally can't do it.
Yeah.
It's impossible for me to do. I can eat half of it, but I mean, it's just so rich and fantastic. Man.
Yeah.
You get me thinking about that.
Yeah. Can I introduce the new sponsor to the program?
Sure.
Nerd. These are the gummy clusters. They're not paying us anything, but I'm going to eat some because all I had was Shipley's this morning at 7:00.
Jeez.
So excellent. Nerds company, get to us. Too much craziness in the tournament. Everyone wants the national champion monkey off our back. Should have had one. Yeah. That's such a weird thing. We have gotten to in the culture, we are to a place where if you don't win a title, your season was shit. Am I wrong?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I mean, there's winning a regular season title in a conference like this is insane. The shit you have to do, that you have to overcome.
And let's keep this in perspective. As good as last year was, this year could be. Well, this year is tougher. So if you can win it this year, it's even a bigger accomplishment. One because I mean you got to play 20 games.
Mm-hmm.
But on top of that, you got to play 20 games with the target on your back, as opposed to being the new guy that everybody wants to say, "Hey, welcome to the Big 12." Now it's like, oh shit, we got to play these guys again.
And you have to do it with 10 road games in 10 weeks. And you're going from Arizona all the way to West Virginia to Central Florida. I mean, it's rough. It is. You go to Boulder. It's just a tough deal.
If we can take care of business on Monday night, if you told me in one season that you'd have wins at Lubbock, Kansas, and Arizona, I think you're absolutely insane. You don't win it. I wouldn't think you win any of those games.
Kansas State too. I mean, they're hard places to play, and U of H has gotten lucky in a sense in the timing. You got Kansas State before they were really starting to come on. You broke Kansas. To be clear,
Oh,
you
absolutely.
broke them. I think you got Arizona at a good time when they had struggled a little bit, and you got Central Florida early, which helped. The only time you've run into a buzzsaw is that Texas Tech game, and then you went to overtime and lost by a point. Um, but I really, if you just step back, everything that has happened this year has been fantastic to watch. What is the record now? 22-4. When I came to U of H the first year, I think they
23 and
ended up
4.
23-4. They ended up 9-22 in Albans last year. They were 7-0 to start the year, ended up 9-22. That was hard to watch. I watched Clyde. I watched Ray Mack. Some of Tom's teams were hard to watch. James Dickey's teams were brutal.
Well, they were
And
frustrating.
this is fun. Well, yeah, you just played absolutely nobody and then got worked in the conference. Awesome.
We actually had legitimate talent.
Sometimes, yeah. Plenty of time for NCAA tournament talk. How about Texas Tech? Beat Tech. Doesn't that get U of H regular? I don't think so. You're still dealing with
You got Arizona lurking out there.
Yeah, they are right now 2.5 games back. Now, if they could lose tonight and BYU is going to Tucson, that would put you 3 up with 4 to play. And then Tech, I think, ties you. I mean, if Arizona loses tonight and you win Monday, I believe you're guaranteed a share. I believe. And so, I don't know. Jamie will have all the Texas Tech preview for you Monday morning. Hopefully that's out before I get on a plane to Lubbock. I'll be at practice tomorrow. It is a weird situation with practice tomorrow. They're going to give us like 30 seconds. Like as soon as they come out of the building, walking to the bus, we got like a little. And so last year I pulled Emmanuel into an elevator and we did an interview in an elevator in this same situation on a Sunday going to the Monday road trip. So we're going to try to figure that out. How about that cylinder foul? So this was, I think, 0,
Yeah.
and he took an inadvertent, clearly elbow from LJ, and they went to the monitor, I believe, to look to see if it was a flagrant.
They actually didn't. They were going there for a cylinder.
They went. That's the reason they went.
That was the reason. That was the reason they went.
Okay, because I mean that's how it ended up. But I
didn't know that. Honestly,
confusing.
I did not know that rule. I did not know that rule existed. But I mean, if that was the rule, then the call was correct. I mean, that rule does exist, and you can't be within their, I guess, kinesphere, if you will, or within their what they can touch, like within their body shape.
Their cylinder.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you could call that. You could call that a lot.
Actually, you won't. It's rare because a defender doesn't get that close that often. And the reason why he was able to do it is because he was stationary.
Okay.
So I mean, I think the wise thing to do is to be able to try to just step through pressure. And if you hit somebody, then hey, it's on them. You're in my space.
Arizona was a pretty good resume win. Yeah. But I think Tech would be our best of the year. Maybe. this is I mean, just going off rankings and net and everything, this is a pretty good win. But I mean, Tech's, they are what they are. And, if you go beat Tech, you have done something. They're number 9 in the country in the AP. I would say it was 8. I don't even see it. Yeah, 8.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it is a road win though. A Tech win would be on the road, so that is a better win. It is a better win. You're right, FH. Uh, Trey Young gave LJ a shout out post game. Ball nowhere. Okay, town searching for a synonym to cylinder. Not a lot of them.
Trying to figure a way to
Did you
come
say
up with a different-
hemisphere?
no,
Oh.
tennis sphere.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought hemisphere was an awesome attempt. Wrong, but an awesome attempt. And yes, this is accurate. Tech would be better because it's a road game. You're 100% right. Winning a game like that on the road is a bigger deal than winning this one at home, and it puts you in the ultimate position going forward. Before I move into anything else, coming up after the Birmingham Squadron game, which I didn't know I'd ever be saying that in my life, is a drop from One Substantial. The Houston versus everybody dry fits will be released today. We're pimping Galen stuff, even though we don't have to, because we love that guy. And that'll be released today. I want to ask you about a couple of things. Courtcast. They tried something new where they put microphones on the referees, or not microphones, cameras,
Yeah.
and had them, and that was its own separate broadcast. Now, they realized
really?
during this broadcast,
I didn't know
Yeah.
it was a separate broadcast.
yeah, they had its own ESPN Plus feed.
Oh, okay. I have to
And
go check that out. And
yeah, so they basically mostly used that, but they also supplemented it with regular cameras. It was I went and looked at it for a bit during the game, and it was herky jerky. And then the ref's whistle would be like over the camera, and then their hands. And I mean, I think it's a nice supplement to a regular broadcast. I don't think it's great for its own broadcast, from what I can see.
now it would get when they would show replays of it, I'd get a little dizzy every now and then,
Yeah,
just because the camera kind of herky jerky.
yeah. The feed itself was a lot better than I expected. Like, I thought it was going to be some sort of Zapruder film or
Yeah, it was quality. It was quality camera, much better than like going on to the old Live Leak website and
right,
watching
or
body
a
cams
GoPro or something. Yeah. With about I think it was 6:37 to play, JVR went down underneath the basket, and the entire team went out to get him. I've never seen anything like that. Like, I've seen guys go help someone up,
Yeah,
but this was it was a deadbolt, and so the guys could go on the court, and they all went out to him.
yeah.
And
But it wasn't because he was injured. It was
no,
hey, go pick
their
your guy
guy.
up.
Yeah, and I'd never seen that.
No,
And that was wild.
weird,
Uh,
wild stuff.
Weird, wild stuff.
So Galen is he's actually getting some PT tonight. He's got 5 assists.
Does he?
5 assists, absolutely. No points,
Well,
but 5 assists.
yeah. His last time I looked, his plus minus was like minus 18, and he's brought that all the way back to minus 6. So good for him.
He's on
5
it.
assists, 1 turnover.
Gotta do
I'm
what you
happy
gotta
for the
do.
guy. Look at him. They are in a place called the Public Auditorium in Cleveland. That does not sound great. So I was looking at your history with Iowa State. You first played them 70 years ago. You've only played them 10 times. And 4 of those have been in the last 14 months. But this feels like a rivalry. It's not Farmageddon. It's not some old rivalry, but this is becoming like a legit series. Like it's going to be an ESPN or an ABC standalone game every time it's played.
Right.
The first one was on ESPN Plus, I believe, when you went to Ames. But every one of them, except for the conference tournament game, the other 3 have been brawls and have just been a lot of fun to watch. And I think this is, I mean, these are the top 2 programs in this conference. I don't think there's,
Oh, there's no
I don't
debate
think
about
there's
that.
any dispute. Yeah. Now, when you start next year, Kansas will be number 1 in the country, of course. But these are the 2 best programs. Now, Texas Tech has stepped it up, and maybe they can sustain that. You don't know because of the portal and NIL and transfer and whatever. But these 2 teams have shown that they can do this year over year. And I think this is becoming something. And I think it's kind of fun.
Well, yeah, it's definitely becoming something. A rivalry, absolutely, but it's a different kind of rivalry. It's not
Right.
like
It's
a
not regional.
well, I mean, it's not a blood feud either. It's not one
No.
where the teams hate each other. There's a somewhat of at least a respect for
The way they play.
yeah, and it hasn't gotten chippy. It's just
Mm-mm.
really which is honestly strange with the way that both teams play so physical. It would be really easy to see that kind of devolve into being really chippy, especially with we've now had 2 pretty close games, and then we've both had 2 blowouts.
Yeah, I guess. People were very upset with Emmanuel, thought he had just completely lost it. And he ended up with 11 points in the second half. He's still there. He's
Yeah,
still
I talked about
hanging
that while you
around.
were gone, and the last 2 games, it's been interesting. He's been non-existent in the first half, and then the second half he looks like a completely different person. But he looks the exact same in both second halves. It's like, okay, man, let's sit down and look at what you did in the second half, and let's do that in the first half.
Okay. Can't really disagree. Both coaches get their players to compete very hard. Yeah. I mean, you can mock TJ for his shirts and antics or whatever, but that dude runs a program. And, there's nothing but respect from either of us. Galen feels the same way. I mean, this is a legit program, and they make basketball fun. It's been so enjoyable playing them and uh, competing, and just
And I will say that since we've been in a title race with them both years, you pay attention to the guys who are around you. It's a lot easier for me to watch them play as opposed to some other schools where I'm like, why are they doing that? Why is nobody playing defense? But then I watch them, and it's like, oh yeah, they're just exactly like us.
yeah, agree with that. I guess we have covered everything we need to cover. We don't have Galen here talking his noise.
Got a big one coming up on Monday.
Big one Monday. Big one. So we're going to skip the show tomorrow night. Number one, the guys are traveling. They won't be available. Um, I have a rodeo function, a thing called Rodeo Bites.
What?
That it's a food tasting, wine tasting. I've never been to it. I don't know, but I kind of said yes to it in July, and it kind of crept up on me. Shout out to Andy Yanez from Pod Slamma Jamma, the other guys. Uh, Andy coaches basketball and won his district in his second year. Got to the playoffs, lost yesterday. Didn't see highlights of that game on ESPN, but maybe I just missed it. But shout out to Andy. Changing careers, taking a coaching job. He coached their cross country, and they won a district championship and a regional championship. And now he's coaching the basketball team to a district title. Andy Yanez, Coach of the Year. What are your final thoughts on what you saw today, Brad?
Good win. Got to just keep grinding out wins. Doesn't matter how they look. Doesn't matter the circumstances that surround it. Just win. Rest up. Let's go. Put this thing away next week.
Always great to see legendary Cougs. I was kind of expecting more, quote, celebrities due to the nationwide coverage. I think that's fair. I think you'll see them next weekend. You'll see big names. You have the H Association Barbecue Saturday in Cincinnati, and then you have Kansas on Monday night, Big Monday. I believe you'll see some names there.
I thought we had pretty much, well, at least on TV, on video, all of the big U of H names.
We had Case Keenum and Tank Dell, Dejan Giroux. I don't know. Who else did I see?
In person or on
Well, me
video?
in person. Chris Senack was here. Bryce Jackson was here. You had some pretty good names. Kingston Flemings, I think, would have been here, but his playoff game was supposed to be last night. It got moved back today at 1:00. He had 18 points. His team won by 30. So he was not here. But I think you'll see celebrities, but you got to win. Things are good. Hey, 15-1 in the conference. That's just mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. So you ended up last year 15-3.
Yeah.
You won 10 in a row. And now you're 15-1. So you're 25-1 over your last 26 games in the Big 12. This is Little Houston, who was just some AAC team that was cute and did some things, and and it doesn't make any sense.
They didn't play
You're
nobody, Paul.
And Paul. Oh, Paul.
They ain't never played nobody in conference.
Yeah. Well, there went that.
Boom
But
goes the dynamite.
I mean, this is fun to see. It's fun to experience. I've been blessed to go all over the country watching this. We're gonna see less of that next year. Ryan's gonna dial that back. It turns out they charge you every time you get a hotel, a flight, or a rental car, and I didn't realize that. So Brett Yormark was here. Master P was here, which I missed Master P. I didn't see him. I did see Brett Yormark. He was carrying around a yellow folder, and there was nothing in it. It was very clear there was nothing in it, but he was carrying it around. How many losses will this Big 12 champion have? I'm starting to think that early prognostications of 5 losses might be off. Now, I don't want to point fingers because that's not who we are. But it's possible that the champion might have less than 5. That is not, I think the second place team could have 5. But Houston is doing something extraordinary. And I didn't have that in the bingo card.
No.
I was wrong. It happens. Not a lot, but it happens. So, yeah, I got it wrong. I don't think it's going to be 5 losses.
Colorado and Arizona State and UCF falling off the map.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't expect a whole lot from them, but I didn't expect them to just be this
Tap
trash.
out. Yeah. And then Kansas State, when you played them, they were garbage.
You didn't
Then they
think
went and
Oklahoma
won
State
6
would
in a
be
row.
you didn't think Oklahoma State would be where they are.
Yeah, you played them in the first game of conference play. And so, kind of everybody starts fresh at that point. But now, I don't know. There's still teams I don't know who they are. I don't know who West Virginia is. I don't know who Kansas State is. But there are teams who we know they are who we thought they were going to be.
Well, at least West Virginia has a reason.
Right, their first year coach.
I mean, well, and their best player disappeared.
You're right.
I mean, it would be understandable if Iowa State doesn't get one of their two guys back. It'd be understandable if they just kind of fell apart. I don't think they will, but I mean, they have a reason for that. But I guess the excuse for Colorado is that nobody wants to play in Colorado after last year, after their really good run. Arizona State, nobody wants to go to Arizona State, I guess.
Yeah, that's a horrible place to be.
Except for Coapete. UCF, they didn't. I mean, you thought that they might take a step forward. Cincy, been disappointment. But in this conference, you've got so many teams with good players. You can miss somebody, but miss a team like we did, like with Kansas State. You can play them early or late when they're a completely different team.
Yeah, timing matters.
Yeah.
And, it just luck of the draw at some point. But, great day to be a Coug. We own the Big 12. That's crazy, as Galen would say. Can't believe the regular season is almost over. In 9 days, you play your last home game.
It's crazy.
2 weeks from tonight at 9:00, you play in Waco at Baylor. And that's the end of the regular season, 2 weeks. But in those 2 weeks, you'll probably see that ladder come back out. And that ain't bad. So things are working out for those Houston Cougars. Tyus Bowser. I did not see Tyus. I don't know that he was announced. Maybe he was. I didn't hear it. It's been a long day. But yeah, that was one substantial. Did any big time recruits come to the game, football or basketball? Football is in a dead period, so I believe there can't be recruits. Basketball, I did not see a recruit. I saw the signees, Cenac and Jackson. I talked with a lot of football players. They're excited about getting underway, and right around a month with spring football. U of H is going to have a spring game, which apparently they're going away now. Could be something that you don't see in 5 years.
Hold on, what? Say that again?
Teams are abandoning the spring game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Nebraska and Texas and USC. And it's really because coaches are scared that somebody shines and they start getting calls to transfer, and here's some NIL money. And
this is half their problem. Here's the other half.
Brad, I was fine if you were just saying L. That was okay, but come on. UT is using the excuse that they played like 15 weeks in a row, and okay, that's fine. They did go a long way. They're acting like they're not going to use all 15 practices in the spring. Like, oh yeah, we played a lot of games. We're not going to use our 15 allotted practices. We're gonna step it back. No, you're not. You're just not going to do a public game to show your players. And okay, that's fine. They also don't have the Longhorn Network where they have to feed that beast.
Because nobody knows who their players are. Nobody has a clue of who these players are, who may or may not be good.
Yeah.
I mean, we can only see your fucking roster. Everybody's recruited all these players as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're really doing a good job of keeping them hidden.
I was hoping you might go off on that.
Morons. Well, it started with Nebraska, because Rule has
Wait,
absolutely
who's the issue there? Who's the issue?
what's his name? Rule?
Dana.
Oh
Dana.
well, I'm gonna go ahead and go stick it on Rule, because he's turned
Mm.
into the good Lord. So he does that. He backs out because all of our players, people are going to find out about our players. Like, they already know who your players are. I mean, they're going to come after him anyhow. But then of course he doubles down and shows how much of a vag he is. Is that he goes and backs out of the Tennessee game, the
Now
Tennessee
that's
series.
weak.
I mean, it only cost him $1 million. You know, take that out of your NIL pocket, idiot.
I just, man, teams like Nebraska and Tennessee should play. Those are awesome games. And if you're just going to play Miami of Ohio and UTSA and an FCS school, that's terrible.
Well, I mean, I think he probably saw Indiana and say, "Holy shit, man, we don't have to beat anybody. We can make it to the playoffs and beat no one."
And I don't know. Maybe he's not even looking about playoffs. Maybe he's thinking next contract. I win 9 or 10 games, and they're going to give me 8 years.
That's exactly the thought, because it's in 26, 27, those two games. That's right when extension time's coming.
Yeah, and
his
I don't
quarter,
know.
and his
pisses me off.
Timu,
The whole sport.
Timu Mahomes is going to be running out of eligibility by then.
Yeah. Austin Carlisle was on the floor. I saw Austin. Love him. 2-time guest on the other show.
And he was clocked as the fastest in practice a couple of weeks, or about a week ago, I guess.
He's changing the narrative on white guys, is what he's doing. We're fast now.
Well, I
when
don't
you
know.
average just yeah.
I don't know, you can say we on that, but sure.
Yeah. Yeah. He's fast, and I look forward to seeing him in practice.
I think he's a guy you're going to have to put. He's going to have to see the field in some capacity at some point next year.
I don't know about that. You got a lot of guys.
I'm not talking about quarterback. I'm talking.
I know.
You're going to find a way to get the ball in his hands at some point. Like a little Wes Welker
they
action.
tried. Well, they tried with Manjack a few times late in the season, and that was not great. Love Joseph Manjack. Love that kid. But Austin in that role? Okay. That could be fun.
Well, I mean, I can see him. I can see him running a.
But I also don't want to. Yeah.
Like a slot.
Yeah, I don't
being similar to like Greg Ward was when he was a freshman.
Yeah, or right until he got booed onto the field against UCF in 2014.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, you got Greg Ward, you got De'Aaron King, you got quarterbacks who are playmakers with the ball in their hand.
Okay, we're not comparing him though, right? Because that's a little early.
No, I'm talking about their athleticism.
Yeah.
The fact that they were a threat with the ball, and they were both really, they're one of your fastest players on the team. They didn't come in immediately and just sit behind a quarterback. They played other positions until the quarterback spot was up for competition, or they won the job.
Yeah.
I just think he's going to force his way onto the field because of his speed and athleticism and his playmaking ability.
I hope so. I mean, seeing more offensive talent is pretty much required this year.
Oh, yeah.
You just didn't, it's pretty bad. But he's such a good kid and a just solid dude that I'm rooting for him. And we'll see, about 3 weeks away from spring ball, right as we get into the tournament, I
Yep.
believe, is the tournament starts that weekend, and then spring ball starts the Tuesday of that week. So I'll be here for that. Best news of today was nobody got hurt.
I'll take
Wouldn't
it.
be shocked if Austin got playing time, but that can wait. Saw Tyus on the TV broadcast. Did not see him in person.
Jesus.
That's wild.
Freaking Broom is going off tonight for Auburn.
Right now?
Yeah, 29 points, 12 rebounds, 4
Who were they
assists.
playing?
Georgia.
Oh, well, come on.
Still, I mean,
Georgia
hey,
does not care much about basketball. Well, I mean, it's a close-ish game. Ish, right?
68, 62, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Broom is him. I mean,
He's a good little player.
that's your player of the year. I know they're gonna freaking hand jack fucking flag. But Broom's the player of the year.
Okay. Just a final thought, and then we'll try to get out of here. Duke is playing a game tonight at Madison Square Garden against Illinois. What do you think of playing? I think I heard Billis say it during game day that he loves this, of playing a non-conference game at this point in the year.
If you're in the ACC and your conference is dog shit, this is what you have to do. I mean, if we were in the AAC still, we would beg to do stuff like this, but we wouldn't be able to. But in this scenario, I mean, this is.
Do you like it?
If I was in the AAC or the ACC, absolutely.
Do you like it? Would you want Houston to do that?
Absolutely not.
I agree.
I mean, I would if I played a game non-conference late in the year. Give me Ouachita Baptist or some other college that's in a freaking strip mall.
Yeah, there are some available. I think with your focus on conference, yes, it would be great to break it up a little, but I don't want my players focused on going and putting on a non-conference bullshit show. It's not about that. It's about going and winning the league.
I'd rather my guys have a day off.
Yep.
And get into the training room and go in your sleep pods and do all your regenerative work you need to get done. I mean, it's a pointless game at this time of the year.
Yeah.
The only games you should be playing are big money games.
Big money games, meaning
that's what conference. When you're coming down the stretch with a title on the line, those are your big money games.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure you didn't mean like pay games.
No.
All right, that's fine.
But I mean, the ACC has to try to remain relevant, and they got to try to get a quad one at some point, because they sure ain't going to get it from in conference.
Probably not. I got some Mario photos I just want to put up real quick.
Sure.
Let's see which one posts first. This is Kelvin and TJ basically are making this a 6-on-6 game. We're just out on the floor. Look at this view of Milo's. I just think that's an awesome photo. Mario's so good at this. And then this one, TA with his hand on the ball there. Adequate.
Mama, meet daddy.
Mommy. Now that we know how to say his name, Mommy is just going to be where we're at. Mario's so good. But go back to this one. Look at that crowd.
It's nice
this crowd was excellent.
I mean,
you
actually see people on the concourse, because that's all their only room for them.
They were everywhere on the concourse. I don't have the most direct route to the restroom, but today it was a weave. So filthy shots, 5-star cameraman. Baylor losing to Colorado. Oof. Is that in Colorado? Maybe that would make sense, but it really doesn't. Yeah, they're in Colorado. Oh, they just lost, it looks like.
What?
76-74. Final. Colorado wins.
Are you shitting me?
Colorado has done the funniest thing since U of H went there. First off,
give them their props. They played us tough too.
you wouldn't give them their props, but I thought they played well. They're starting to find something. It's not going to matter, but
No, I mean they're going to have a new team.
you're going to have
anyhow.
something to build on, and good for them. Crowd showed up. Love these shots. I agree. They're great. Mario's fantastic, and we appreciate him quite a bit. All right, that's going to be it for us today. The GoCoogs.com. The one substantial you're going to get that email tonight, and the site's going to open for sales of the dry fits. Look at the he's even got a Mario photo behind this. I helped Galen out a little bit, a tiny bit, because what he was going to show y'all was terrible. So we got a little better background on that. One substantial, coogfans.com, GoCoogs.com. Thank y'all so much. Star Pizza is there for you tonight. I'm going to go have a steak. I'm treating myself. But
Yourself.
I really
Where are you
am.
going?
I'm going to Ruth, as we like to do. 18-2. Which means you're going to have to lose a game, which means we're going to have to sit through a show after losing a game. If you go 19-1, that's the most remarkable thing Kelvin's done in his career.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say 18-2. One of the most remarkable things Kelvin's done in his career.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we're not going to put any pressure, but the record is going to be better than I thought it was going to be, and better than what I thought the champion of this league would be.
Me too.
And that's tough, as the other guy would say. What's the other guy doing now? Did they win? They won. Birmingham wins.
They were up down
Galen,
whenever.
Yeah, 5 assists, 1 turnover. He made a free throw, so he scored a point.
Boom.
Yeah,
Doing it all.
One. Yeah, he's a multi-talented fella, that Galen Robinson. Thank you all so much. Thank you for being here. I'm going to leave you with my guy from last year when we were at Iowa State, who was our halftime entertainment. This is what Brad looks like after he does one jumping jack. This is how he walks. Sachet, Brad.
Ooh.
Sachet.
Puffy